Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. College football week 12, November 17th and 18th picks and bets we have against the spreads, obviously, or the bets that we have laid down for the weekend. So getting into college football. Lots of games to get through. Not a ton of what I would call stellar matchups this week. It's mostly next week and then obviously championship week. But we'll get through the slate of games today. There's definitely some value to them. I think it starts actually tonight. There are two games for Friday night college football. We love them both, to be really honest. So UTSA, South Florida. UTSA been one of the better teams in the country. They might never heard of. It's because they're just initials on that one there. So going against South Florida. South Florida probably best known for their close contest with Alabama earlier this year when Alabama tried to figure out or how to piss Jalen Milroe off to play really well. So UTSA is going to be somewhere 15.5, 16-point favorite, total of 66.5, 67, somewhere around there, depending on what book you're at. We love UTSA tonight, minus 6.5 first quarter, minus 8.5 first half, and minus 15.5 for the game. And then also we like over 13.5 total first quarter, over 34.5 total first half, and over 66.5 total for the game. So one more time in this UTSA South Florida matchup. UTSA, by the way, if you haven't seen their offense, definitely worth watching. So they can put up some points and put them up in a hurry. So UTSA minus 6.5 first quarter, minus 8.5 first half, minus 15.5 for the game. And then also over 13.5 total first quarter, over 34.5 total first half, and over 66.5 total for the game. Next game up on Friday night is going to be Colorado playing another late Friday night game at Wazoo, Washington State. Washington State favored by 4. That line keeps coming down on Colorado, and I'm not exactly sure why. But we will say, what's the old saying? We will say thank you and move on from there. I guess I don't know why they think all of a sudden Colorado's not going to score any points, or this team's not going to score any points. But like I said, we will take it and not complain about it. The only thing we really liked overall is the over in this particular matchup. So we do like Colorado over 13.5 total first quarter, over 30.5 total first half, and over 61 for the game. One more time in that one, it's going to be Colorado Wazoo, over 13.5 total first quarter, over 30.5 total first half, and over 61 for the game. That's the two Friday night matchups. Now we'll get into Saturday. Michigan, Maryland. Maryland 19-point home dog, total of 50. We are not on this matchup. Next one up, Illinois, Iowa. Iowa 3-point home favorite, 32 total. I think we're probably going to have to play the under here again as well. We have not played it as of yet. We were kind of waiting to see if there were any more over money come in, as the line really hasn't moved much. But do make sure you check out the Google Sheets at the end of this episode. And I'm sure you're going to see the Iowa unders play one more time. Penn State, Rutgers at Penn State, 20-point home favorite for Penn State. No shocker there. As Rutgers got shut out by, Iowa last week. 40.5 total. We do like Penn State quite a bit here, so we're going to take Penn State minus 6.5 first quarter, minus 10.5 first half, and we did get it at 20.5. I thought it was going to go the other way, but now it's down to 20, even better for everybody else out there. Penn State minus 6.5 first quarter, minus 10.5 first half, and minus 20.5 for the game for that one. Louisville, Miami, Florida. Louisville, the ranked team here, obviously 1-point road dog. Miami, Florida, favored by 1, total 46.5. This game smells funky, therefore bet Miami and bet it heavily. Miami moneyline first quarter, Miami moneyline first half, and Miami minus 1 for the game. One more time, Miami moneyline first quarter, moneyline first half, and minus 1 for the game are going to be our bets on that one. Then we get into Oklahoma, BYU. BYU, 24.5-point home dog, 58 total. We're going to pass on that matchup. Tulane, FAU. FAU 9.5-point home dog, total 47. We're not on that one. We are on the next game up though. SMU Memphis. Memphis 8.5-point home dog, total of 64. We like the totals here on this particular game. So we have SMU over 13.5 total first quarter, Over SMU, over 33.5 total first half and over 64 for the game. One more time, SMU over 13.5 total first quarter, over 33.5 total first half, and over 64 for the game. Next game up we're going to get into is going to be ULM and Ole Miss. And Ole Miss 37.5 point favorite, total at 62. We do like this particular matchup here, and we're going to go after Ole Miss to cover the points here after getting, I think, embarrassed a little bit last week. I think they hammer away Louisiana Monroe. So Ole Miss minus 9.5 first quarter, minus 20.5 first half, and minus 37 for the game. One more time, Ole Miss minus 9.5 first quarter, minus 20.5 first half, and 37 for the game. I honestly think they could be up 35 by halftime, if not more, and throw just a little bit more on there for pain and suffering. Mississippi State at home against Southern Miss. Mississippi State, somewhere between a 14 and 15 point favorite, depending on what book you're at. Total at 46.5. Of course, Mississippi State just comes off firing the coach. We think they're going to round around the interim. So Mississippi State minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 7.5 first half, and minus 14 for the game. One more time, Mississippi State minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 7.5 first half, and minus 14 for the game. In that one for us. Purdue Northwestern, yuck. Northwestern 3-point home dog, 49 total. We're going to stay away from that game. Same thing with Michigan State, Indiana. If you want to watch Big Ten bad football, feel free. We've seen enough of it this season. It's basically a retread of everything we saw weeks 5 through 10. Coastal Carolina at Army 3-point home dog, 43 total. We're not on that matchup. Same thing with East Carolina Navy. Navy, 2.5 point home favorite, 30.5 total. We're not on that one. We are on the next game up, though. UMass at Liberty, 27.5 point favorite for Liberty, and I don't think it's near enough, as UMass is probably the worst team, and Liberty is one of the best teams you never heard of on that one. So we did take Liberty minus 6.5 first quarter, minus 14.5 first half, and minus 27.5 for the game. One more time, Liberty minus 6.5 first quarter, minus 14.5 first half, and minus 27.5 for the game. Next game up, Appalachian State, James Madison. James Madison, 9.5 point favorite, 56 total. James Madison, good football team, but we're not on this particular matchup. We are on the next one, though. Hawaii traveling to Wyoming. Wyoming, a 13.5 point favorite, 45 total. Wyoming is the tale of two teams. Really good at home, really poor on the road. So Wyoming, minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 7.5 first half, and minus 13.5 for the game. One more time, Wyoming, minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 7.5 first half, and minus 13.5 for the game. Then we'll get Kent State, Ball State. Kent State's horrible. Ball State's not much better, but somehow Ball State's favored by 13, 42 total. We're not on that one. La Tech against Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State, 8.5 point favorite, 54.5 total. We're not on that game. UTEP, Middle Tennessee, same thing. Rice, Charlotte, same thing. One of the better games of the day is Utah, Arizona. Utah, 1 point road dog, going to Tucson, 46 total. We are probably going to watch this game and probably live bet this particular matchup once we see kind of what's going on. But Arizona was a cover machine until last week with Colorado. But being back at home, Utah, though, just brings an extra dose of physicality that most teams aren't ready for. So we're going to stick away from that one from now, but that'd probably be one of those areas we live bet quite a bit. Cincinnati, West Virginia. Cincinnati, 6.5 point road dog. Going to West Virginia, 54 total. Not on that matchup. Nor are we on Nevada, Colorado State. Colorado State, 12.5 point home favorite, 46.5 total. Next game up, though, Duke, Virginia. Duke, 3.5 point road favorite, 46 total in this game. I understand Duke has not played well since earlier in the season, but Virginia is still god-awful. So we'll take Duke minus 1.5 first quarter, minus 2.5 first half, and minus 3.5 for the game. One more time, Duke minus 1.5 first quarter, minus 2.5 first half, and minus 3.5 for the game in that matchup. Temple, UAB, we're going to pass on that. Same thing with North Texas and Tulsa. If you want to watch some teams not play defense, though, that North Texas-Tulsa matchup probably be a pretty good one. Texas State, Arkansas State, pass on that one. Next game up, Georgia at Tennessee. Tennessee, 10.5-point home dog, 58.5 total. This has dropped as it was at 59.5. I'll be really honest with you. This kind of torn here, right? 10.5 is obviously a lot of points on the at home to get. Georgia's been just tearing apart teams. They seem to really pump it up here as of late, as they were not covering anything to start off the season. It's one of those games probably we're going to live line as well. I can see Georgia winning by 40 or Tennessee keeping this thing close to the last minute. So we're going to stick away from that for the time being. But like I mentioned before, the Google Sheets at the end of this episode, make sure you do go down the link, and you can check back into that thing all kinds of different times there and view what we've done. UCLA, USC, obviously the Battle of LA, so to speak, right? So USC, 6.5-point favorite, 65.5 total. With the difference in these quarterbacks, isn't it a shame it's only 6.5? That's how bad USC's defense is. Caleb Williams versus the freshman, this should, in normal circumstances, if they had any defense at all, this might be 30. Wake Forest, Notre Dame, we're not on that matchup. Clemson, North Carolina, due to the fact that we're not betting any Dabo Swinney games, at least the rest of this year, as he does nothing but irritate the living piss out of us, we're not on that one. Baylor, TCU. TCU being favored by 13 against anybody's kind of a stretch, but we're not on this game either. Sam Houston, Western Kentucky. Sam Houston is god-awful, but we didn't play this particular matchup. Louisiana, Lafayette, Troy, we're not on that one. UNLV, Air Force. This should be actually, the styles make fights on this one. Air Force's rushing attack. UNLV's played extremely well all season long, but we're not on that matchup either. North Carolina State, Virginia Tech, we're not touching that one. Oregon, Arizona State. Being from the Phoenix area where Arizona State plays, 24 does not seem like enough, but we're not on that matchup. Ohio State, Minnesota, 27.5. We're not on that one either. Oklahoma State, Houston, not on that one either. New Mexico State, Auburn, not touching that one. UCF and Texas Tech, not touching that one. Marshall, South Alabama, not on that one either. Old Dominion, Georgia Southern, same thing. Cal, Stanford, should be interesting, but not on that one as well. Kansas, Kansas State, we would be on this game if KU had their quarterback, but not on this particular game now. Boise State, Utah State, should be fun offensive game. Next game up, though, Washington at Oregon State. Oregon State's been anywhere from a 1.5-point favorite to 2.5-point favorite over Washington. I know I'm probably going to die on the hill here with the Huskies, but okay, if I had to rate this game, this is the areas. Washington has the better playmakers, and Oregon State has the better lines. So who wins? Normally, I'd say Oregon State in that particular matchup. I just think there's something special about this Washington team. And they figure out, even on the crappy weeks they have, they still figure out a way to win on that one there. And since the line's so low, it's hard to go against them in that matchup. So we're going to take Washington plus a half first quarter, Washington plus a half first half, and Washington plus 2.5 for the game. So one more time, Washington plus a half first quarter, plus a half first half, and plus 2.5 for the game on that particular matchup there. Florida, Missouri, not touching that one. Same thing with Nebraska, Wisconsin, FIU, Arkansas, Kentucky, South Carolina. An interesting game, but we're not on it. It's Texas at Iowa. It aims at Iowa State. Can Texas actually get the win that they need in order to go to the Big 12 championship and not fumble this shit away? Texas 7.5-point favorite at Ames, 46 total. This is almost one of those ones where we want to bet the under more than anything else, but we are sticking away from this matchup for the time being. Next game we are on, Georgia State, LSU. This line's going to move as well if it's not already moved. And it's just totals we're looking at in this matchup. It's 72.5 for the game. But we do love LSU. Over 16.5 total first quarter, over 37.5 total first half, and over 72.5 total for the game. Georgia Southern can move the ball, especially against that not-so-great LSU defense. So, like I mentioned before, expect a lot of scoring here. LSU over 16.5 total first quarter, over 37 total and a half first half, and over 72.5 total for the game. Then Syracuse, Georgia Tech, no thank you on that one. San Diego State, San Jose State, we are on this matchup, and I expect the line to keep moving a little bit later on, as it is a late Saturday game, as well as New Mexico, Fresno State that we're not on. But we do like San Jose State here. They have been tough as of late. They absolutely came out and dominated last week. We expect the same here. San Jose State -3.5 first quarter, -7.5 first half, and -14.5 for the game. This is the team we expected to see at the start of the season that we didn't. So San Jose State -3.5 first quarter, -7.5 first half, and -14.5 for the game. That's going to wrap up college football for us. Like I mentioned, there's a lot more games, I think, next week, or better matchups next week, so to speak. There is some value, though, and I think it starts tonight, though, on that UTSA line, and then that over in the Colorado game that we've mentioned here a couple times. But there's really some value there, so I think playing the Friday night slate is going to help. Saturday, we're a little lighter than probably normal, but that's all right. I think there's still the plays we made. We're definitely looking for some value there as well. If we think they're going to cover by a half, that doesn't really do us much any good. What we're looking for is where the line's off a little bit. Maybe there's 3.5, 4 points there that we think of difference there from where we think those games should land. So make sure you do check out those Google Sheets, like I mentioned at the end of the episode in the comments section. That'll give you a list of all of our bets, what juice we got those at, how many units, and what book we place those at. And also make sure you subscribe and get notifications to the YouTube channel. So when we drop our bets, you get those first. It gives you a ton of time to match them up with your bets and give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window so we can all make some money. That's what we're here for. I do appreciate everybody's support as always, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.